Let's talk about ASMR. I think it's still kind of not a very known thing in the world. There's definitely like a niche on YouTube, and I'm sure that you've met a lot of people who have discovered it through you and everything like that.
It's weird.
So we have a couple questions for you and for, I guess, the whole table. So the first one is, how did you get into ASMR?
I think it was 2010, so I was a sophomore in high school. I couldn't sleep at all, ever, at night. I would like have like panic attacks, like when I'm trying to fall asleep, you know, like you just start thinking about things. And so I would just go on my phone, go on YouTube, watch anything.
Yeah.
And then so it's like you get into one of those YouTube holes. I think I was watching like, they had a long time ago, like the virtual haircut.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
A long
The
time. That was the
binaural one?
first
Is that
time.
like the OG?
That was the first time I'd ever,
gotta be.
heard like binaural, and you could hear them in your ear. You're like, whoa, you know?
I forgot about that one.
And I think like that, plus like I would watch like massage videos because they're nice. You like kind of live vicariously through the person.
Yep.
And then like I found the whisper community. That's what it was.
So it's already had started back then in 2010.
Yeah, I think it started in 2008.
Wow.
So I like started watching it fairly early, or it was like 2006. I think somebody like posted the very first whisper video. But yeah, I was watching it for years and years and years. Like every night, I watched it while I was studying because I couldn't like listen to music because I'd sing along and get distracted.
Anything with lyrics.
Literally, yeah. So I would like listen to it while I was studying, listen to it to fall asleep every night, all this stuff. And so I majored in film in college. So I was senior year, and I was like, you know what? Like I'm gonna make a YouTube channel. And I'm gonna do ASMR,
Hell yeah.
and I'm just gonna see if it works. Yeah.
So you've been doing it for how long?
3 years.
Wow.
3 years. Yeah.
So you were literally just like on a whim, like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do this.
I loved YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is something that like I love the community. It was so like there was no drama. It was so like everyone just wants to
What a
chill.
different time
Yeah.
on YouTube
Everyone
world.
just wanted to chill because back then like YouTube was very loud, very like all over the place, and so I was like, this appeals to me very much, especially as like somebody I'm just filming out of my room. Like I don't feel like I have anything like crazy like important to say. I'm like, let me just
do this.
relax you and see if anyone catches on. So.
And this is gonna be a question for the whole table. But how did you discover that you have ASMR or that you get ASMR?
Yeah.
What is the term for that?
Well, it's interesting because like ASMR is like the tingles that you get like in either with like personal attention or sounds or whatever. But it's also used to describe like this genre. So it's
Gotcha.
like you watch ASMR videos, but you're not necessarily feeling like the tingles like 100% of the time. Like no, not at all. But I remember like getting like the tingles like when I was a kid, like really young. And I remember like weirdly like very detailed parts of my childhood. Like I was in like first grade and somebody was reading like a math word problem out loud. And like my first grade brain, I was like, if I was on my deathbed, I'd want her to read this to me. I like look back now, I was like, how did I know what a deathbed was?
Yeah,
I don't know.
If I'm dying, this is all I want to hear.
Yeah, it'll relax me to my forever sleep.
Yeah. But I had a ton of experiences like that. It's like people like drawing things for me or like getting my
just got the
face
tingles.
painted or something.
And I'm sure you didn't know what it was at the time.
No. It was like indescribable. And then when I looked up ASMR, it was like crazy. I was like, oh my God, like that's a thing. Yeah. So it was weird.
I remember my first time getting it. I was at summer camp, and I was in my bunk with a bunch of the girls, and we were talking and standing in like a circle, just chatting. And I guess my tag was sticking out of my back, and this girl just reached over and like put it in there. And like the way she like just touched me, it made like all the hair on my head
touch
stand
of a
up.
woman,
and I was just like,
Barbara.
but it was weird because I was like 10 or something, and I was just like, what?
It's just like pleasant.
They said something. Yeah, it was just like pleasant, and like I felt this rush of tingle all over me, and I was like, I don't know what this is. Am I into her? What does this mean?
Why not both? Could have
And
been
then
both.
ever since then, it's just like certain people's voices and pitches, but also I found that like, especially women's voices, but very delicate women who are like tend to be more petite and have like long fingers who are talking and doing. I don't know.
Like, you didn't sound weird at all.
It's
Like
the
I
way
get it.
it's like
I
their
get it.
hand movement and the way they like
course.
enunciate things and something like that.
I
Like,
must be the
Very
biggest turn off.
particular.
Delicate little Mariel.
I have little fingers, but they're not very delicate.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's hard to describe, but something about it, I'm just like, I just want to like
Get it.
watch you talk. Like,
get
it
it.
just makes me feel good.
Oh my God.
What about you? You have gay ASMR.
I do. It sounded like you said gay ASMR. I was like, true.
Which we
It
are.
is, well, we're filming
Happy
this in
Pride.
June.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah. No, it's similar. We were talking before the show, but I similarly had, for me, it was probably what it is for a lot of people, was Bob Ross.
Love him.
I remember like I would be homesick and I would watch Bob Ross and I definitely would get the tingles, and I was like, oh, this is just like so, as a kid, you don't have the words or the language to describe what you're experiencing. So I was just like, something about this man is so deeply calming at a physical level. And it was so powerful. And I was saying, even I had an eye doctor when I was a kid who, when he would do, because I have terrible eyes, I had to go all the time. And he would do the, which is better? Is it one or two? And it was like the
You're getting
proximity.
me right now
Yeah,
with
like
that.
the proximity and like the, just the mechanical, just this,
Like
even
the
the
clicks,
sound of
yeah.
the mechanical clicks and him saying that, I was like, what's
It's like a dark
happening?
room.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
a dark
yeah.
room. Everything about it was just very
It's
soothing.
also like a level of personal attention.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they're paying attention to you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was gonna say, wait,
Yeah.
do you have an? Because I know you do role play. Do you have an optometrist one?
Yeah, that was one of the
Oh,
first.
yeah.
they were-
Get on that shit tonight.
That was one of the first videos that started like garnering like some sort of like views. Yeah, because
Oh, cool.
and that's so
Yeah.
it's just so funny because
Yeah.
like so many people like agree.
Oh,
and it sounds so weird, and you say it out loud, and,
and
you're
I
like,
exactly. I
yeah.
think now that it's becoming more mainstream. I think it's being used in. I was talking to Texas about it beforehand. Like it's being used in advertisements. Like during the Super Bowl, there was the Zoe Kravitz thing. I think people are starting to hear about it more and understand it more. So when you explain these things, they're all universal understandings of like, yeah, it's nice and calming to hear soft voices speaking in a very soothing way.
Yeah, or someone doing something for you.
Yeah,
and
doing
taking
some,
care of
being
something.
attentive, those things all make sense. And I was saying too, like right before, like very much like you said, I have anxiety and OCD, so I have intrusive thoughts. I have a lot of problems sleeping. And for me, it was a means of shutting my brain off.
Yeah.
It was having something that I could give my brain to focus on when I'm trying to sleep that isn't the things I don't want to think about. So being able to put on ASMR videos while I'm trying to go to bed and have my brain go, I'm going to listen to the example I gave Mariel is a weird one, but I was like a woman sorting through a pile of keys. Like she was just
Yeah.
moving
Sorting,
keys.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds
like,
amazing.
It
because
was
it's also
great.
like the ting
The
of the
soft,
keys.
yeah, but it was like my brain goes, okay, this thing, I have a sensory input coming in that I can focus on, and it focuses on that, so I don't have the thoughts that usually would keep me awake. And so it is very effective, I think, for me at least, for managing my anxiety and my thoughts and letting me actually go to sleep, which
Yeah.
is so valuable.
I
It's
used
so
to listen
helpful.
to it when I was cleaning my apartment. Like I would
That
just
is
put in a
so
video
nice.
and just like do it because like
yeah.
it's like this weird thing where you could concentrate on it, but it also turns your brain off in a way where it's like you could just focus on something else and not really think.
Yeah.
So it
like,
made cleaning
yeah.
go by really fast.
So I would
too.
study and
Yeah.
like write papers to it.
I think that's a great point, because same thing
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
music, I could only listen to instrumental music when I was studying because I would end up singing,
start
getting
listening
distracted.
and- yeah.
Same thing with people who say they listen to podcasts while they work. I'm like, you are an expert
Yeah.
level
Oh, yeah.
multitasker.
I wouldn't hear anything that's
Yeah.
going on in the podcast. I would just hear voices.
Tune out and I
Yeah.
would miss half of what they talked about. And I guess that's fine if you just want something to distract you. But
Yeah.
I think it's really good for that kind of stuff, being able to center you and take away distraction and calm you down.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
incredibly
it's funny
valuable.
because we talk about, you know, a lot of mental health issues on the show a lot, and I think something we don't often bring up is ASMR as, as a way
It's
to,
like a coping
yeah,
tool.
I highly recommend
I
it.
highly recommend it.
Have you ever experienced it, Mariel?
Yeah, when you said the haircut thing, like I was instantly thrust back into like 2000.
Yeah, right?
Oh
That's
God.
so long ago.
Yeah.
But there's a it's not actually not an ASMR thing, but it's a podcast that I would listen to. I listen to it mostly on flights because I'm a nervous flyer now. But it's this podcast called Sleep With Me, and I actually got to meet the guy who does it at a convention that we were at not too long ago. But he just talks like this, and he just drones on and on and on. And it's not like more of a tingle. It's more of just like a oh God, like
yeah.
turn my brain
Almost
into mush.
boring you.
Yeah, it's like he's literally boring you to sleep, and it was one of the things that I like listened to on a flight. It was actually my flight to Hamilton.
Yeah.
I fucked up severely.
You needed to be reassured.
I needed to like. I was all over the place, and so it was one of those things. But my girlfriend likes to watch like art restoration videos.
I love those.
Those are
Yeah.
satisfying.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's the one that I can't remember the name of it now, but it's that one guy in New York or, or Chicago, I don't remember what it is, but it's like 14-minute videos of him just like taking the grime off of paintings with
Yeah.
like cotton swabs. It's so
Yeah,
satisfying.
she watches those, and she does like she watches like makeup tutorials.
Yeah.
To go to bed, and I never understood it.
That's what I used to do.
Yeah.
That's a gateway.
yeah.
That's gateway ASMR.
Absolutely, it is.
Let me tell you.
There's one makeup artist, I'm totally blanking on her name, but she has this like beautiful British accent and like very kind of like calming voice. She'll be like, all right, we're just gonna take some of this brush and be, and I'm just like, yeah. Talk to me. It's the most calming thing.